Instead of fixing Canada's backlogged immigration system, the Conservative government slipped through legislation that gave the Immigration Minister arbitrary powers to move people around on this list. And Stéphane Dion instructed his Liberals to either skip or support certain pieces of legislation. And in fact, this piece of legislation did get slipped through because of the lack of consideration the Liberals actually gave to the problem. It's the NDP that actually led the Creating Fair Opportunities Plan to recognize foreign credentials. So please understand that there's a lot of talk here, but it's really the NDP that's leading the fight on making sure that Canadians are recognized and the family reunification program goes forward and that immigrants actually do get processed through a real system. Not like 700,000 2 years ago and now up to 900,000.
Thank you very much. Go ahead, please. Oh, okay, 30 seconds.
This is more a question than a comment. As I pointed out in the introductory comments, sometimes I think I'm pretty dumb. I don't understand. I mean, we have a backlog that's grown from 700,000 to 900,000 and wait periods of up to 5 years. I'd like to know why. Isn't this a question of putting resources into that area? If, as we hear, immigration is central to the future economy of this country, why are we not shortening it? Why are we not putting more resources? And maybe you can ask a question of that of my colleagues here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Wallace, 30 seconds, please.
The short answer to that question is that over half of the board positions right now are vacant, and no effort has been made to replace them in order to have faster determinations. I also wanted to point out that specifically in our platform, in addition to what you've heard my colleague describe our efforts under prior regimes, we do have a comprehensive plan of working with professional associations toward accreditation and expediting the process on the Canadian side as well, and getting what we view as some of the very high requirements for accreditation lowered to match what they actually are for Canadian applicants. We feel that a lot of the coalescences are not equivalent to what would be required of a Canadian graduate of an engineering or a medical program or a law program, for example.
Thank you very much. 30 seconds are up. On to the next question.
I have Pedro here, who's 11 years old, and he has a question for the candidates. All right. I have a question for the Liberal and Conservative Party. Is education your priority? If so, what is your political party, your position to improve this situation, especially in elementary and secondary schools, in terms of providing students with new technology and equipment? They need to enhance the learning outcomes. Because we've been fundraising for years now, and we haven't, How can your parties help us?
Thank you very much. If I could ask the respondents to limit their responses to 1 minute, because there's 5 people who are going to be speaking. Beginning with Ms. Cadis. Go ahead, please.
Investments. The Conservative Party have come up with a tax credit for books. That's not how you build a country or a nation. You have to invest in our people. And we have, again, given the chance, we know that Canadians are very hardworking and talented and skilled. We need to ensure that every Canadian young person has access to post-secondary education, and whether it's college or it's university, to ensure that with our $1,000 a year total grant, as well as $5,000 loan, a lower rate, regardless of your parents' parental income, to ensure that we have the best country possible. We can compete with the best trained, best educated workforce in the best future.
And finally, the Progressive Canadians Party. Go ahead, Mr. Corns.
Okay, so I don't think Ms. Cadis actually listened to the question, because the question was more about secondary schools and elementary schools, and unfortunately that is a provincial jurisdiction, and we will not infringe on that. But as we talked about, it is something that the transfer payments that we've sent from the federal government to the province of Ontario has increased almost 30% versus the Liberal government. So we are putting a lot more money into this, into the education system through those payments. And as a result, as I mentioned, our class sizes are getting smaller, and the kids are getting a little bit more access to the teachers. So we're working on things on that side, and education will always be a priority for the Conservative Party. I do actually have to apologize, though. I do have to depart at this point, but my apologies. I will give you my email address, info@votejcarnes.com. We are at 201 Shepherd Avenue East if you want to come in and talk to me, 416-240-0395. My sincere apologies, but we got double booked today, and I'm sorry that Mr. Leung is here as well to represent our party for the balance of today's debate. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for joining us today.
Mr. Chairman, may I say that it's very good of young people to participate in the democratic process, but specifically how the Conservative Party will help you is that we will reduce your GST so your books and your computers are cheaper. We have allow you a $500 grant for arts and arts education to assist you in the arts. And we have also eliminated or exempt scholarships and awards from being taxed.
Thank you very much. On to Ms. Wallace.
I'd like to address specifically the element of the question that had to do with new technologies, and I really appreciate the question. Getting new technologies into our schools the fastest way possible and having up-to-date information and tools is a real challenge, and one that needs to be recognized. And we're hoping through a reshift of how we deal with our entire economic structure that we will see more attention given to green jobs, green technologies, new technologies, particularly for our young Canadians.
Thank you very much.
In 2005, there was a agreement between the federal government and the provinces to have a universal child care program. When the Conservatives came to power, they scrapped that. The Green Party is advocating for that. We want to have a universal child care program. The $100 a month that is given currently just isn't sufficient to have proper child care. The other thing is, over the last few weeks, I've spent some time at York University meeting students there, and really, you get the comments that students are afraid to go on to post-secondary or post-grad education because they don't want to be saddled with a $20 or $30 or $40,000 debt when they finish. I mean, we're hindering further education, and we need to help our students do that, and we're advocating the creation of a national bursary for students, and also that when they achieve their degree, half of the loan would be forgiven. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
When it comes to education, I just can't shut up because I'm personally involved. Deep inside, I've always been hoping that the education is funded and budgeted enough so that I could shut down my private school and go back to my financial and economic things. But the point is that the angle at which the education has been going down in this province, by the way, this is a provincial issue. The last 10 years, I've been watching that. It hasn't improved. We are still going down, and something has to be done about it.
Thank you very much.